It's your boy Jose from Big Meat Sports. How are you guys doing today? Before we start off the program, please subscribe, like, and comment on the page. Thank you very much for the support already. And let's get this show started. So, on this episode, we're going to be talking about some NFL football. And I want to talk about my Dallas Cowboys. Yes, I said it, my Dallas Cowboys. What a great win versus the Minnesota Vikings. Now, look, earlier in the week, everybody's saying, should they play Dak? Should they not play Dak? And I was kind of, it's one of those things you're kind of like wanting him to play, but there's bigger and better goals, for the season. We want to go to the playoffs. We want to make a deep run in the playoffs and possibly the Super Bowl. And we need our quarterback to be in there. I know that there's a lot of speculation of him taking like a placebo shot or whatever the case may be, where it's like, put the plasma in the calf and it helps the rehab process. I don't know if that's true or not. I just know that Dak was looking good and everybody thought he was going to play in his pregame warmups. And then all of a sudden, they went ahead and named Cooper Rush the starting quarterback. And I think it was a plan all this time to have Dak sit out this game. Didn't want to give the upper hand to Minnesota on looking at some more game tape on Cooper Rush, because I'm pretty sure they're planning for Cooper Rush. But man, I mean, this game was, I didn't know what to expect on this game. We have the playmakers on offense. It's just Cooper Rush. Can you distinguish, when to, go out and try to squeeze the ball in there? When where's your hot routes? It was all on Cooper Rush on this game. And I feel like at the beginning, the game was moving way too fast for him. But he did settle down and he did, manage the game and get it to his playmakers. And his playmakers were CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. I mean, you're not going wrong with those two, because again, they're trying to force us to pass the ball and not let Zeke and Pollard win the game, and they're loading up the box, and which made those corners for the Vikings one-on-one on an island with basically two top 10 receivers in the league. And we made them pay for it. Also, Cedric Wilson on that, post route. And I mean, Cooper Rush threw that ball perfect on stride and led Cedric Wilson to that catch. And Cedric Wilson, I think it was like a 75-yard plus TD. But yeah, this I mean, this Cowboy team is something different this year. It's just something, and a dog's on defense, because this defense, other than the first possession of the game with the Vikings, when they went down and scored, I felt like this defense was really, really on point. And I was kind of wanting to see where we're at on the corner aspect of covering Jefferson, covering Thielen, mixing up our looks and stopping Dalvin Cook. Basically, I feel like this team was a mirror image of what the Dallas Cowboys are. When I say that is, we have Zeke, they have Dalvin Cook. We have Cooper, they have Thielen. We have CeeDee Lamb, they had Justin Jefferson. So it's like a mirror image of what the Dallas Cowboys were. So I feel like maybe that was an advantage for the Cowboys, because they see it almost every day in practice of two elite wide receivers, that the Vikings have. But I want to say, what kind of surprised me was the run defense. Yes, they gave up here, a 15-yard gain here, maybe a 20-yard gain here, but they didn't let Dalvin Cook run loose on them. And I feel like there's a lot of negative gain that they had. And shout out to, defensive line, Gregory, Watson, Odigizua, I mean, so on and so forth. They really clamped down on the defense. And look, this team is scary, and it kind of looks like whoever you put back out there, quarterback, other than Ben DiNucci. I'm not gonna, not riding with Ben DiNucci, but it's just simplify the games. Give your playmakers, a chance to catch the ball, make the right reads. And Cooper Rush started doing that towards the end. Yes, we got a lucky bounce here and there. But at the end of the day, a win's a win, and a win without your star quarterback. I'll take it. I would take it by any means. But we're still 3-game lead on the NFC East, and going into this Denver game, and it's gonna be a tough game versus Denver Broncos, because they do have a great, excellent defense. So we'll see how who's going to be at the helm. Are they going to hold Dak out one more week, or are they going to say, hey, let's give Cooper Rush did let's see. If to me, I would want Dak to play, but people probably will think, hey, we still have the 3-game lead. Let Dak rest one more week and see, if Cooper Rush can do it again. I mean, time will tell, man. Please go comment below, comment on our Instagram page. Who you think? What do you think the Cowboys should do? Should they start Dak or hold him out one more week? And it's going to be interesting. But some other games I want to talk about. I mean, the Dolphins, again, home team. I'm going to always talk about the Dolphins, and it's looking really, really bad right now for the Dolphins and their team. I mean, look, I was surprised that this game was a close scoring game. But Dolphins seem to just shoot themselves in the foot. And the one big play was towards the half, right before halftime. They had a chance to put some points in on the board, and looked like they didn't have the right personnel, or the personnel was not set up right. And it kind of looked like the play was, effed up from the beginning. So to me, when that happens, if I'm the quarterback, coach is on the sideline, call a timeout. I mean, call a timeout, get your personnel set, and run the right play. They don't call a timeout, and they snap the ball, hits Gesicki, fumble, Buffalo gets it. And man, what I mean, that's like a total game changer right there. I mean, you could tell like the life was sucked out of the Dolphins, because I felt like they were thinking that they can hang with the Buffalo Bills, which they were, and they probably could steal a win on the road. But once that happened, I felt like, life was sucked out of the Dolphins. And man, is it time for, because again, I think Coach Flores should have saw that and call a timeout, but he didn't. So, now I'm kind of questioning Coach Flores on his coaching. Like, are you bought in, and what's going on with you? Like, you should have known, you should have seen that and call a timeout. But man, it's the trade deadline is November 2nd. It's coming up, and we got to see what the Dolphins are going to do. And you got to do something, somewhat soon, because at the end of the day, there needs to be, people need to be held accountable, and you need to start, getting this team back, because this team has been saying, oh, we're rebuilding, rebuilding. And it's been a lot of time saying that. And I think a lot of Dolphin fans are sick and tired of this rebuilding process. I feel like they have some key pieces. But again, I mean, you're paying so much money at your corners. One corner, Byron Jones, that doesn't intercept the ball. And then Xavier Howard, that's very inconsistent. One year he has 10 interceptions. This year he's getting burnt left and right. So I think they need to get back to the drawing board and try to bring in talent. Again, drafting talent is not their forte. I think they need to start bringing in some people and some key pieces and get this thing rolling. But I feel bad for Tua, because I feel like, in the back of his mind, the Deshaun Watson trade rumors are are in the back of his head. And it must be frustrating, because, you can see glimpses of Tua and how good he is, but then you get the boneheaded plays. But you have to kind of expect that because this is his second year in the league, and he's still learning on the fly and on this fast paced NFL, in this NFL team. So I mean, Tua is. I mean, I still have faith in Tua, but a lot of Dolphins fans just want to get rid of him and start with Deshaun Watson. But if you get Deshaun Watson, what guarantees you of a winning season? Yes, he's an elite. He's one of the top. I would say top 10 quarterbacks, but you don't have an offensive line, you don't have a running game, and your receivers are okay. So what's how you can't expect Deshaun Watson to make miracles. But a lot of people think he can make miracles, and so that's why they're on the Deshaun Watson train. But we'll see if the Dolphins make that trade. It kind of I'm pretty sure the Texans are looking toward New Orleans and seeing what New Orleans has to offer since Jameis Winston went down and they really don't have a quarterback right now. I'm pretty sure the Saints are inquiring about Deshaun Watson and his status, but we'll see. I mean, I think the trade deadline's Tuesday, November 2nd. So we'll see what happens from there. But there's a lot of big injuries, other than the Jameis Winston, Derrick Henry going out on a torn ACL. This is going to be interesting because we're going to see how the Tennessee Titans are going to look, because Tennessee Titans are, basically a run first team, and Tannehill just has to manage the ball. He's going to have throwing to wide open people like, Julio Jones and Brown, because of the threat of Derrick Henry, breaking off a, 90-yard run, 70-yard run, or whatever the case may be. So we're going to see how Ryan Tannehill can guide this team and try to get them to the playoffs. Do I think it can happen? Look, I don't trust in Tannehill. I know he's a good quarterback, but he's not that elite where he can do it all himself. Feel like they're not going to be stacking the box because they don't have to worry about Derrick Henry. So even though that offensive line is really good and creating holes, but again, Derrick Henry is another beast, and with his size and speed, that's something you have to look towards. So I really do believe that they're going to start, on a downfall here. I haven't looked at their schedule, but I want to say if they do make the playoffs, it'll probably be a wild card. But they do expect Derrick Henry to be back, 6 to 8 weeks. So we'll see how that unfolds in this upcoming weeks on his rehab. But it's been like a crazy year with all these injuries, a lot of calf injuries resulting in this year, with a lot of top, Dak with a calf injury. There's quite a few. I saw Adam Schefter put out a report with all the calf injuries, and there's a good like almost 15 to 20 people on that list of calf injuries that happened during this year. And some people are speculating, oh, maybe the vaccinations that they received are creating this calf injuries. I'm not sure. I just think it's one of those coincidence that it's just happening this year. But a lot of injuries are occurring this year, and it kind of sucks because a lot of key players are out, and you want to see, a football game's more interesting when you have your best personnel. Everybody has their best personnel out there because you want to gauge on, how well your team plays. But also, something I've been thinking about with all these quarterbacks going down and teams that are struggling, to find their way. Why isn't Cam Newton on a team? I mean, Cam Newton should be getting calls left and right. Now, I don't know if he is or not, but I do feel like Cam Newton can still play in this league. I mean, there's teams out there that he can, jump on. New Orleans, since they lost Jameis Winston, because I don't think Taysom Hill can take them to the next level. The Jets, as they lost, Zach Wilson, and Houston. I mean, Houston, look, Mills is not the really, go-to guy out there. If you're just, rebuilding, I guess you don't want to sign Cam Newton. But if you want to give some hope to your franchise, at least put him out there and see how many games he can win. But I think they're really, Houston is trying to, suck in the drive to get that first round, that first pick overall. But man, I feel bad for Cam, because you saw a quick decline in Cam after his injuries with the foot and the arm and so on and so forth. But I do think that Cam can still play in this league. But we'll see on if he gets that call again. He's a free agent, so he doesn't have to wait for November 2nd. So he can get a call on any time after that. But again, I'm pretty sure that he's keeping himself, in shape. So there's gonna be a team hopefully does call Cam Newton, and we'll see if he gets picked up. But last point I want to talk about today, and I just saw them finish playing the Giants, are the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, my question is this dynasty over for Kansas City? And if it was a dynasty, it was a short-lived dynasty. But is this the end of the Kansas City Chiefs, that powerhouse that we're used to watching the past few years? Because man, this team is looking really, really bad. And I think it starts on the defensive side. This defense reminds me of the Cowboys defense last year, where they were horrible. They couldn't stop a nosebleed. And yes, tonight's game, they beat the Giants, but it was only 20-17. The Giants had a lot of opportunities to steal this game in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes looks like he's trying to go for the big play every single time. A lot of teams, and I believe I heard that, I believe it was last year or 2 years ago that I believe it was Atlanta Falcons exposed the Kansas City Chiefs by playing too high safety. And you see a lot of teams are playing too high safety versus the Chiefs. And you're seeing Patrick Mahomes with his decision making, and it's not as quick as you want it to be as a quarterback. So he's holding on to the ball a little bit longer. And now it's just a scramble drill. And you're relying on him to sidearm or, Tyreek Hill to, pass a defense. But it just looks really, really bad right now. And again, I feel like Mahomes is trying to do way, way too much for this team, and he's actually costing this team a lot. Instead of going and going through his progression or checking down, he's trying to fit balls in, and he thinks he can make every throw. And yeah, that was working a couple of years ago, but defenses evolve and they adjust. And I think they're knowing that you don't like to go to that, you don't like to do that check down, and you're going to try to squeeze this ball into Kelsey or Tyreek Hill. And also, they don't like to run the ball as much as they should. Two high safeties, meaning, two safeties playing way back, it's just a recipe to run the ball. That's less people in the box. You should be guaranteed like 5 to 6 yards. And they don't want to run. It looks like, they'll run a couple and they don't want to stick to the run. Mahomes wants to just throw the ball and be a gunslinger. And it's not looking good for, the Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes is turning the ball over. People are reading these routes. I think they're leading the league in turnovers, which is really, really surprising. And it's not that exciting offense that we're used to seeing. This offense looks really, really bad. And now with their remaining schedule, they have a really, really tough remaining schedule. And the next game is going to be the Packers. I believe after the Packers, they're playing the Raiders and then the Cowboys. And I got them chalked up for, going 0-3 right there. At the beginning of the season, I had Cowboys, possibly losing this Kansas City game, but it kind of looks more and more in the Cowboys' favor due to the fact that Kansas City defense is atrocious right now. And I mean, their offense is not looking really, on point. So I think they're going to lose to Green Bay. They're going to lose to the Raiders because the Raiders like to run the ball, and Kansas City can't stop anybody from running. So I think the Raiders will pull that one out. And again, the Dallas Cowboys coming in there. Looking at the remaining schedule, I have the Kansas City Chiefs finishing off the season at 8-9. So it doesn't look, that's not a playoff team right there, first of all, and especially in the AFC. So I don't think it's gonna fare too much for Kansas City. It's looking really, really bad. So do you think is this the end of the dynasty era for Kansas City? I mean, comment below on this this YouTube channel, and let me know what you think on Instagram and so on and so forth on other platforms. If you do guys like this podcast and want to catch more of this podcast, please, we're on Apple Podcasts now, Spotify. Check us out on our Instagram page. I greatly appreciate you guys. Again, thank you guys for supporting the channel. I went a little bit long today, but I want to talk some points about this NFL past NFL week. And tune in for a little bit later on the week. Got some NBA talk. I'm going to be talking about some rule changes in the NBA and the fouling thing and what offensive player is struggling to adjust. So tune in later on this week for that. But again, this is Jose from Big Meat Sports, and thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.